What is this?
This is Ford City High School, and it's been open for more than 100 years. If you want to see a flash of the past and the present of Ford City High School, stick around because Education Today starts now!
Hello, welcome to Education Today. I'm Jake Canish.
And I'm Teresa Coleman from Ford City High School. Today's program has been produced, written, filmed, and edited by the TV production class at Ford City High School. Our production team decided to take a look at a flash of Ford City. High schools are packed with a myriad of activities, classes, social times, learning, and opportunities for growth. This program will give us an opportunity to personally connect and view up close the activities and schedules of an everyday student at Ford City High School.
Our guest today is Mrs. Deborah Sarasso, a teacher, committed faculty member, and alumni of Ford City High School. It seems appropriate to take a flashback look at Ford City through the eyes of someone who has been a witness to its history as a speaker for our show. Welcome and thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to spend with us to reflect on Ford City High School.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
You are a rarity in this day of people moving all over the country and leaving small town childhoods for big cities. What has kept you in this area?
Actually, fate. Technically, when I first graduated from college, I landed a job in Texas and was getting ready to leave for Brownsville, and I would have been teaching physical education in an elementary school with mostly Mexican students. A few weeks before I was ready to leave for my new life and my new job, it just so happened that a particular school in this district, both the Spanish teacher and the phys ed teacher were going to retire or had to leave for other reasons, and so I ended up, even though my combination was very unusual, I ended up being able to teach both things and got hired by the district and been here ever since. Kind of worked out.
Yeah, good luck. We know that the town has changed, but small towns have their benefits, and we noticed that in many of the old yearbooks, the photos of the city, obviously there was much pride and beauty in the town. How did the pride carry over in the lives of your classmates?
Especially my class. If you look at some of the people that I graduated with, everyone is familiar with their names in town. Chris Chimka does so much for the community. That would be a whole show unto itself. If you look at all the people that work at Heritage Days in the booths, work for all of the organizations that we have in town. A lot of them are my classmates or people that graduated from Ford City. Right now we've got all the things going on with the trail. Mr. Simmons, his wife has started the O'Connor Street Garden Club to beautify the town, look at Ford Street. I'm proud to say that a lot of my classmates are involved in those things every day.
That's good because the town does look really great right now.
Coming along.
Yeah. We know that we have many alumni who have became successful in many fields. Can you share with us some of those you know of?
There are quite a number. Well, the person that right now I am most proud to know is Brigadier General Robin Swan. graduated in my class of 1974, and he is currently serving in Iraq. So that's unbelievable. We're very, very proud to have such a hero from our hometown. In the sports world, of course, everybody knows we have Gus Farrat. We had Mr. Ed Hobaugh and his son Brian, and Denny Herringer played professional baseball. Marvin Russell, graduate of Fort City, not in my class, but played football for Notre Dame and went on to be a CEO of an international company and lived on the Champs-Élysées in Paris for over 10 years. We've had, of course, Red Mahalik, that our gym is named after, international and Olympic referee. Currently, we have 3 judges that graduated from Fort City High School. We have the Honorable Ken Valasek and the Honorable Jim Panchik and retired Honorable Judge Joe Nicklish. Many doctors. We have pediatricians, Dr. Altman, Dr. Joanne Nicklish graduated from Fort City, Dr. Gwen Brewer, Dr. David Gray. We have Dr. Sipple, a lot of doctors. Dr. Bill Alexak. So medicine is certainly in a lot of pharmacists. Speaking of entrepreneurs, of course, Joe Sipple and Klingon Smith has done so much for the community, especially Fort City. We have in communications, David Highfield, KDKA News. So I could go on and on. I'm sure I've forgotten a lot of people, but we have quite a list of people to be proud of.
I didn't know we had that many doctors that graduated out of our
I'm sure
school.
there are more.
I'm sure there are.
Looking at some of these old photos from the Triune, we were able to recognize only a few actual locations in the high school. For today, our crews have put together a little overview of the buildings as the students see it today. So let's check it out.
At FCHS, we have 3 different computer labs. These computer labs are a big help to the kids at the school. They use the computer lab when they need to work on assignments, when they have free time, and teachers can also come in and use them whenever their classrooms are in use.
The following stop on our tour is the Senior High Hallway, which houses the lockers of 10th through 12th grade. There is always an opportunity for socializing and enjoying the time between classes. Not only this, but also on this floor is located the only planetarium in the district. So if you ever are in this hallway, you should definitely check it out. And also make sure you get a look at the biology rooms and the chemistry rooms, as well as the other senior high classes. The next stop on our tour is the hallway. This particular hallway contains the lockers of grades 7 through 8. Although newer to the school, the atmosphere is very welcoming down here and gives the students a chance to meet new people. Not only do we have the 7th and 8th grade lockers in this hallway, but we also have the library right on the right-hand side.
In math, Ravati tries to spend time teaching students how to do difficult math problems. Mrs. Ravati loves math and has a flair for it. She is also in charge of Math League. She takes kids to a place where students can compete against each other, in which they try to solve difficult math problems.
We are really curious about technology changes in the time you have been teaching. Do you remember not having computers, and how has that changed your teaching style?
Of course I remember not having computers. You probably don't even know what a Ditto Master is, but when I started teaching, we had a Ditto Master machine, and this was before copiers.
Wow.
I mean, copiers existed, but we certainly didn't have any, and so you had to put a paper in with a print, and you had to crank it by hand. And
wow.
yeah, so we've come a long way. I'm struggling with technology. Are really, really advanced, and it's something that people of my age have to kind of work on improving themselves on a daily basis, but it has certainly changed. I mean, I have CD series that go with my textbook, and the computer and whiteboards, and all of the things that you take for granted are all very exciting and hard things to get to for some of us.
I couldn't imagine not having a computer at school.
I'm sure you couldn't.
Mrs. Sarasso, Fort City High School has a rich history. You must have some special memories of your time here. In looking back on your high school years, what classes and extracurricular activities were some of your favorite?
Well, I happened to be a cheerleader back then, so I loved sports. The problem when you graduated in the 70s is if you were a girl, you could only be in one major thing. And we had a big school. I had a class of over 250 students. And so if you wanted to be on the girls' basketball team, that's all you could do. If you wanted to be a cheerleader or a majorette, we had a huge band at that time. That's all you could do. You could certainly be involved in other extracurricular activities. So we had a great intramurals program, a club called GAA that I was involved in, Girls Athletic Association. Spanish club, of course. There was we had a very large band and a large chorus. I was in chorus, and we put on a gym every year. So I was involved in the gym show for a couple years. And then we had a lot of the same things you have, you know, student council and things like that. So everybody was pretty active.
Good. We'd like to take a few minutes to share some of the activities that students are choosing to participate in at Ford City High School today. Let's take a look.
There are many clubs offered at Ford City High School. First, we are at the Senior High Stuco meeting. Senior High Stuco does many activities such as the blood drive, homecoming, senior night, and the snowball. As you can see, there are a variety of clubs offered. The Boards Games Club is one of many that you can choose to be in at Ford City High School. The Prom Fashion Show is an annual event held each year by the Junior Class Cabinet. The Junior Class Cabinet dresses up and models the new prom fashions for each season. This year, the event had a different twist to it, as the Elderton students who are coming to the school next year also got to participate. The event also offers prizes and awards to those who show up at the audience. The Dodgeball Tournament is a new popular event that has been held for the past 2 years at Ford City High School. It is sponsored by the Sophomore Class Cabinet and has been successful its past 2 years and continues to be. We're back with Mrs. Deb Sarasso, who is sharing her experiences of her years attending and teaching at Ford City High School.
Although it's a complex question, we were hoping that you could share some major changes in the school day for today compared to your high school day.
Well, the periods and the time frame are basically the same. One of the things that we did and just took for granted is we were able to leave the building every day. If we lived close to home for lunch, that's what we did. We always came back, though. So that's a little bit different.
Probably wouldn't work today.
Yeah,
No,
probably wouldn't
I
work
couldn't
today.
see that.
Were the lunch periods longer then?
No, they were about the same. So it just wasn't an issue. You know, when it was time to come back to school, you came back to school. The other thing, you have more AP courses available to you now, a bit more of a variety, and we had more of a kind of a tracking where if you were headed for college, you were mostly in academics. If you were headed for the workforce or business school, you took mostly business classes, and there was a big distinction then. Which today, you know, you need all those things, right?
Going to college.
And the school day started at the same time?
Roughly everything, the periods and the time schedule were pretty much the same.
Even though education today is stressing science and math for students, there are many students who enjoy the arts. What were some of the favorite classes in the area of the arts for students in your graduating class?
We had a lot of very talented artists, I remember, in my class in particular. So we had some very extravagant snowballs and proms where they actually built castles.
Wow.
and did phenomenal murals and things like that. There were a lot of extracurricular activities, just like there are today. The band and chorus were very big. Art classes were full. Metal shop, wood shop were full. A lot of great projects came out of there. So most things were the same. They were just a little bit more in numbers than today.
Obviously, since you're a Spanish teacher, you must have studied foreign language in your education. We know that you're famous for sponsoring all those trips to different countries. Where have you taken trips to in the past, and how has it enhanced the education of your students?
I got the travel bug in 1977. I was fortunate enough, it was my junior year in college. I was going to be my senior year, and during that summer I got to study abroad through the university, and that was it. I think I learned more in those 3 or 4 months than I ever learned anywhere. I still firmly believe that education is the very, very best form. Travel's the very best form of education, and so, you know, I think outside the walls of the classroom, a student can learn how much of a global person that they are, which is why I try to go somewhere at least every other year, if possible. We have been, oh my goodness, we have been all over Europe. We have been to parts of Canada, over 325,000 Hispanics now living in Montreal. So we can do a nice immersion program with French and Spanish, which, as you know, we're going to be doing very shortly. We have been to South America, Upper South America, Mexico, many of the Spanish-speaking islands in the Caribbean, Northern Africa, and we have a big trip coming up in 2010 where we're going to Europe for 2 full weeks.
Wow.
So
Sounds exciting.
it is the greatest way to learn, in my opinion.
And you also take many Spanish trips with the Spanish level kids in Fort City High School too. Do you want to say anything about
Surely.
those?
We had 5 trips this year. We like to take each Spanish level on at least one trip. Boston Hispanic Flamenco Ballet, which is not a ballet, but a troupe that performs, comes to Pittsburgh usually twice a year. We go to the nationality rooms with our Spanish 3s. They order in restaurants. We do an extensive art unit in our level 5 class, and we actually go to Pittsburgh and to New York City to the Metropolitan to see to go to the museums and see some of the original works of the artists that they've studied. So we have a pretty well-rounded foreign language program and really try to expose students a lot to the culture, the art, and the geography.
Wow, that's great. Let's take a look at some of the classes in the arts and humanities offered at Fort City High School today.
Here at Fort City High School, we have many different electives. An elective is an extra class that you can take. There are a variety of choices such as studio art, wood. To make sure our students are well-rounded, we have mandatory semester classes between 7th and 8th grade so they can try out these electives throughout those 2 years. Given that not everyone likes everything and is not the best at everything that they try, from 9th grade on, one can pick the electives that they want or like and that they tried in 7th and 8th grade. Here's a little taste of a few electives that we offer at Fort City.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we return, we'll look more at Fort City High School and why it is so important in our community. Stick around for more education today.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like or what role I would play or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name is Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major, and this is my university.
Welcome back to a Flash of Ford City segment of Education Today. Our guest is Mrs. Deb Sarasso.
Now that we've talked about changes in the building, could you please tell us what sports were popular at FCHS when you and your students were attending the school?
I would say the same as now, but I think now there's a little more emphasis on football, a little more football players, and a fewer numbers in basketball, the last few years, but it was always a basketball town.
That's what I've heard from my
In
dad.
the 70s, yes, basketball was big.
Yeah.
And being a cheerleader, got to see it and attend all of those games. Football was equally exciting, but most of the sports have stayed the same. We also had track back then. We had all the things that now.
And as being a phys ed teacher in the past, do you feel that athletics are important to the school, and would you add any new sports to our school?
Absolutely. I think athletics are critical to any school setting. I think you learn a lot more besides skill with the sport. There are a lot of things that go with that to enhance you as an overall human being. I think that education is first, athletics are second, and sometimes we get our priorities mixed up, but athletics, yes, are they're very important.
Well, our crews have put together a quick overview of the sports at Ford City. Let's watch.
The athletic talent at Ford City High School has made our small town school earn a big recognizable name throughout western Pennsylvania. Sports such as football, girls and boys basketball, boys track, softball, and baseball have had a successful season or are in the making of one. In the fall, the varsity football team has got the honor of runner-up conference champions with an impressive record of 13-2. This winter was also a triumphant time for both the girls and boys basketball teams. The girls earning co-section champions with Burrell and the boys' first section championship in 30 years and progressing to the second round of the playoffs. Currently, for spring sports, boys track, softball, and baseball are both in the midst of a successful season. Other sports at Ford City not mentioned are cross country, boys and girls golf, girls tennis, girls volleyball, girls track and field, and cheerleading. Most of these sports are also offered at the junior high level as well. Well, that's our show. We would like to thank our guest, Mrs. Deborah Sarasso, alumni and teacher, for being here with us today discussing Ford City High School.
Also, thanks to today's film crew from Ford City High School, led by teacher Barb, for producing this entire show from the script to the final edit. This was a student-produced project. Great job, everyone. Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. For updated news and information on the district, please visit our website. Have a great week.